Well, hello everybody. Today I would like to go deeper on the topic of how to deliver bad news. And first of all, I will give you an introduction and some context. And also today I have two sources related to this topic, and we are going to analyze each one of these sources. And finally, I'll share with you my opinion and point of view about this topic. And to start, I have a question for you. And imagine that in your company you have a difficult decision to take, and that decision involves people that is going to affect them in a negative way. Which one will be the path to follow in order to deliver the bad message without hurt other people's feelings and offer a bad image to the company? So which one will be the path? To analyze this, I have two sources to you. The first one is an article from the Harvard Business Review. It's called How to Deliver Bad News to Your Employees. So let me show you. Um, okay. Okay. So this is the article from the Harvard Business Review, written by Amy Gallo, 2015, and the title "How to Deliver Bad News to Your Employees." And the test begins with a sentence that says, "Delivering bad news is tough." Okay, and also. Uh, uh, Here it shows a situation in which you have to deliver a bad news that you disagree, but it's your job to deliver it. So you're going to feel stuck between rock and a hard place. But the article shows some ways on how to navigate the situation, and these are the principles that the article gives us. Then there are called principles to remember what to do and don't. So it says understand why the decision was made before sharing the news. And you need to know how the decision was made, who was consulted, and what other possibilities were discussed, and the rationale before the final outcome. And the manager should take as much time as necessary so that he's confident with his own understanding of the answers. In the case that when you offer the bad news to your employees and the person who is receiving that message is gonna have questions, and you have to be prepared in order to answer those questions. So it comes with prepare and rehearse what you're going to say. So it means that you have to be confident with what you're saying and explain the rationale and the process for making the decision. It will be easier to you once you already know which one the process was for the decision making. And that's why it is so important the first step about know how the decision was made. And then we have don't sugarcoat the news and be clear and direct. So you have to be thoughtful and caring, but don't sugarcoat the news. It makes more difficult for people to digest the news, or the bad news. And let your body language belie your words. Be sure that your non-verbal cues aren't telegraphing something different than what you're saying. So what you're saying, your body language is saying too. offering something different, and allow people to debate the merits of the decision, focus on moving forward. And the one thing you don't want to do is get into a debate about merits of a decision. You don't want to go into detail with that. And then we have the second source is Forbes, 13 ways to get better at delivering bad news. We have here an article from Forbes, and it is an article written by expert panel Forbes Communication Councils. So those are like some tips, some steps that the panelists give you an advice on how to deliver bad news. There are 13. And the first one is about anticipate and prepare for question. It's related to what the other article says. And you have to know what you're gonna say, why the decision was made, and prepare all the questions that your employee and the people that is receiving that bad news message might ask to you. Second one, be the first to break the news. You you have to be clear. You have to try to be the first person who tell the bad news and not let the person get the bad news from someone else before you, because it can be rude. Just be honest. It's better to let them know the truth and then assure them. And this is what people always would prefer, upfront and honest about the news, and offer a clear explanation for the decision. It is about the decision process making, and that's why you have to go to the first step and anticipate and prepare for question. You have to know why the decision was made and how the decision was made in order to explain it. Express empathy, trying on the shoes of the other one, and remain calm while delivering the news. Say Cynthia that time heals all, and whatever the situation at hand is, eventually it will pass. Again, don't sugarcoat it. It is important and relevant at the moment to deliver pertinent message. Own the situation. You have to treat the situation with transparency, responsibility, and accountability. Okay? Not know what you are not going to say. You have to be an expert on what you're trying to say, but also don't come with other words that might confuse the message that you are saying. Genuinely apologize and offer solution. People like to know if you make a mistake. If you offer an apology, it is it is okay for people, and it is better if you offer a solution. And stick to the facts, but be considerate. Also, make a sandwich is about buffer, giving a buffer to that person, then give them the bad news, and then buffer in again, repeat the first point, so it gives the bad news softer, but still clear. And acknowledge the recipient's frustrations. The best way we found to recover from a mistake or a negative situation is to make the client feel safe and validated in owning our parts in bad news. And finally, I have an example of how to deliver a perfect message of bad news. The first one, we're unable, okay, it says, we're unable to give you the promotion. It's being direct, clear. Human resources says that in order to be at a director level, you need to have responsibility for a larger scope of the business. It's explaining the rationale. It is not necessarily how I approach it, but I understand why as an organization we do it in that way. This you are explaining the procedural failures, and finally, what questions do you have for me? How are you feeling? You are allowing for empathy but not debating. And now let's look at what you can do to get that promotion next year or following ones. We are focusing on the future and how to solve the problem, the situation, and the issue.